bit rough. I should have known, I should have seen. That look in your eyes is not letting me in. I can't believe this body's fine. I'm outside. It doesn't make any sense. This was not how I saw the end. But I keep on breathing. Heart is beating. I'm waiting for the eclipse and the consequences of it. Why do we keep falling down when it's always the affected ground? We got time to make this right, but it's all we keep falling down. Do you remember our first touch? When I look at you now, an adrenaline rush. We're always looking for something more. We're closer to the edge than ever before. I can't believe this body's
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lita Loca. My name is Tony. Welcome to Cruise Day Night Live. And well, unfortunately, I'm sitting here by myself. We had a Showtime scratch. We had planned to both be here tonight, me and the lovely Jenny B, but we had something come up in our family that we had to tend to. And well, she's doing the tending and I'm doing the show. But we're still going to talk about the thing that I put on the thumbnail to talk about. I've been getting some interesting questions lately, all on the heels of our last Halloween group cruise. And a question that I got, it's been a long day. And a question that I got asked frequently was, because we're not doing group cruises anymore, are we quitting YouTube? I will answer that question. And then also today I got asked several times, for the level of tipping that I do, which I don't think is that absorbent, what do I do for a living? And so I crafted an answer for that. So I thought I would share it with you. Of course, I would love to answer your cruise questions. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to get in. I'll answer those 2 questions and then I will jump into the chat and answer your questions. The way it works in the chat is if you have a question, just type the word question in front of your question. I'm not gonna see all of them. I'm gonna do my best to answer as many as possible, but if you don't get your question answered, there's nothing personal out there. I'll try my best to answer everything, but you'll notice when I start looking for questions, that would be the time to ask your question. The only thing that I would ask you, well, 2 things that I would ask you to do here in the beginning is hit that like button. I think we can get to 1,000 likes by the end of the show. And if you haven't yet, answer that poll because I'm going to be inquiring about that poll in a little bit. I really want to know what people mean when they say it depends. Are they talking about the adult diapers? I don't think that's what it is, but okay. So it's 9:02. I will give it until 9:05. Then I'll start answering the group cruise question and whether or not that means we're quitting YouTube. I think most people will know what the answer to that is, but yeah. But a quick shout out to the Blue Crew. If you see people with blue by their name, you can ask them questions. There are admins. And then if you get out of line, they're also the people that will time you out or throw you out, that kind of thing. A lot of times they see stuff that we don't even see. And so I appreciate them all being here. I've seen Scott McNeil. I've seen Emily Flanagan. I'm not sure what else part of the Blue Crew is here, but they just all came off a cruise. Let me say this. I didn't make that big a deal out of it because I feel a little weird that Jenny and I don't have the same cruise count, but I have had to go out and do a little more cruising than she has. And, you know, of course, I don't force her to go on cruises. And so there's some cruises she just hasn't wanted to go on. But we started back in 2017, and this Carnival Celebration cruise on Halloween was my 50th cruise. I've hit the half 100 mark since starting in 2017. So in addition to being our annual Halloween group cruise, our last Halloween group cruise, this was also my 50th cruise, which was pretty fan-freaking-tastic. Pretty cool. there's the lovely Jenny B. I hope everything's going good, baby, with the thing that you're working on, but glad to have you in the chat. So if you have any questions, you can pepper Jenny B with some questions too. Okay, one more minute, and then I'm going to answer the quitting YouTube question, which is just I don't even know where that kind of question would come from, but yeah. Question from Gary Hilton. I'll answer this one while we're doing it. What camera do you use for your studio videos? I'm using a Sony a7X3. I'm pretty sure that's what the model number is. It's a full frame camera. It's fancy. It's got 2 memory cards. I'm using a dummy battery, a full HDMI cable to pump it into a small Rode streaming device, which is connected to my laptop. And I'm using the Ecamm streaming software. And I'm using a Rode boom mic above me, which is also what I record my shows with. It works for streaming and for recording. That's a great question. Okay, no, we're not quitting YouTube. So we have the wild thing, and this has kind of started to hit us as we've returned home. For the first time in 5 years, we do not have a group cruise in front of us. And that's a wild thing. I think we had our first group cruise in 2018. And so now we don't have any more group cruises. And really the place that we're at, so the wild thing is we're about 6 years into YouTube, and I still think that we're pretty young when it comes to being small business owners. And so what you have to do, it's so easy to just continue to do the next thing, just to be on the hamster wheel. And what am I gonna, you're just constantly, keeping up and just doing and doing and doing and doing, when sometimes you need to just take a break and evaluate what you're doing. And so really for Jenny and I, we're both trying to evolve and be better business people and really have better strategies for our business while continuing to do the work that we do. And so one of the things that we wanted to do to create that space so that we could evaluate where we're at in our businesses is to take a break from doing group cruises. So we don't have any group cruises scheduled going forward. We don't know if we'll ever do another group cruise, but we don't know that we won't ever do another group cruise. But we know for sure we're not doing a group cruise in 2025, and we don't have any group cruises planned right now. Does that mean that we're quitting YouTube? Absolutely not. For me, I have I'll tell you the answer to my, what kind of work do I do in a second. But for me, probably one of the greatest passions that I have right now is going out and finding something interesting to talk about, whether it's some, experience of mine, some story, something from Jenny B and I, some sort of cruise news, some sort of angle on cruising. I love creating something out of nothing on almost a daily basis and doing that with you guys in mind, trying to come up with interesting things that will pique your interest on a daily basis, try to make a crazy thumbnail where you may guess what the story is. I prefer it if you can't guess what the story is. That's what I'm trying to do. Everybody thinks I'm trying to trick you. I'm just trying to tease you a little bit. I'm just trying to get you to think a little bit so that, you'll dig deeper into what I'm talking about. There's nothing nefarious going on there. It always trips me out. And when people get all like, oh, it's not like, I don't know you. I'm not trying to upset you. I'm just trying to tweak your brain a little bit. But I have a huge passion for that. And of course, we're not going to quit doing YouTube. It's one of our big passions. That would be like quitting the travel business, which we're not doing that either. But I did come up with this my new scripted answer. So people say, okay, well, what do you do for a living that you could tip the way that you do or that you could travel the way that you do? And I could just say I'm a YouTuber, which I don't know if people really understand what that means. But this is my new answer. I run a small media and entertainment company that creates advertiser-friendly content for a large advertising seller. That's exactly what I do. So YouTube sells advertising it's Google. They sell advertising like a TV station. They're looking for partners to make ad-friendly content that they can sell ads on, and that's where I come in. I'm creating that entertaining ad-friendly content. So I'm a YouTuber. That's how I make my money. If anybody has any questions, we have about 5 revenue streams. I did a video that talks about all the different ways that we make money, but at the heart of it is making that ad-friendly content that YouTube, Google can sell ads on. So those are the 2 big questions that I get asked a lot over the last couple days, which I thought was weird, but there you go. Anybody need clarification on that? I'm happy to clarify. So, and I'm happy to answer your questions. Jeremy Schmidt, any NCL cruises coming up? No. Oh, I do have an announcement. No NCL cruises. The only thing that we have on the books right now is we have Caribbean Princess next month, so Princess Cruise in December. We have Carnival Jubilee in January the 20th. We have a Princess Cruise after that. I think it's, I don't know, whatever's in Galveston after that, and I think that still may fall in January. No cruises in February, and then 2 transatlantic cruises starting in March. And then we did book that Holland America 42-day cruise at the end of the year that goes from Fort Lauderdale to the Med and all the way back. But because of the turmoil over in Israel, which that was a stop that I really wanted to go to, we're leaning toward canceling that cruise. Plus I have to, at some point, get the thyroid cut out of my neck. So we're not booking a lot of cruises right now until we can figure out when that surgery is going to happen. But or I'll just do a lot of cruises around Florida. This is what I think 2024 is going to look like for Jenny and I. I think we're going to be doing a lot of cruises out of Florida. Carnival Paradise just got refurbed. We might go back on that. Allure is now doing 3-4 day cruises. We'll go on that. There's going to be new ships in Florida, Celebrity Ascent, stuff like that. I think we're going to be doing a lot of close to home short cruises until we can figure out the old thyroid. So that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Question, what is your favorite cruise line and why? Nikki Green, my favorite cruise line, is the next one I'm going on because, well, that's the way life works for me. I'm somewhat happy all the time. But I think, and I'm pretty sure this is my answer, if I was forced to cruise on one cruise line forever, it would probably be Royal Caribbean, because while most cruise lines tick a lot of boxes that I enjoy when it comes to my cruising profile, I think Royal Caribbean ticks more boxes than any other cruise line when it comes to the things I like about cruising. I'll go ahead and say it on the front end before somebody asks. I'm not really interested in going to Hawaii. I don't really want to do any river cruises. None of that stuff sounds fun to me. I may do it at some point just to share the experience with you guys, but I get to ask those questions. Like, do you want to go to Hawaii? Do you want to go on a river cruise? Not really, but I would if I had to, just to show it to you guys, but it doesn't sound exciting to me. I'd like to do expedition cruising, that's true, but the other two, not so much. Question, is that a light up D20 in the background? Do you play Dungeons and Dragons? April, it is a light up D20. The most exposure I've had to Dungeons and Dragons is, look, it's the same way when I was a kid. As an adult, I talked to myself mostly. Didn't have a lot of friends over at the house. I might have had 1 or 2 friends. The friends I had, they didn't want to play Dungeons and Dragons. I remember going to a B. Dalton in the mall, I think in Bristol, Tennessee, back in the 80s, and buying the original rule set and the die that you colored in with the crayon and character sheet. And I did all that by myself. So I never played it, but fortunately for me, shortly after that, Pool of Radiance, which is one of the first D&D based computer games, came out for the Commodore 64. I played Pool of Radiance. I played Baldur's Gate. I've got the new Baldur's Gate. So the closest I've ever had to traditional D&D, or at least that rule set, has been digital, but I've never been like invited to Joe Montagna's house to play at his big D&D setup, but I do like the idea of it. So yeah. Question from Jonathan Doak. Do you think Faster the Fun is worth the cost? It depends what the cost is. When I did Faster the Fun, it was only $99. This is back in 2017. And back then, you had immediate access to your room. It wasn't this like you could drop your bag off access. It was like legit, your room will be ready. That was worth it. Priority disembarkation was worth it. Priority customer service was worth it. But I don't know, like if I'm not getting on the cruise ship immediately early, I'm happy to come at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you just got to weigh it out and figure out what's the advantage of it for you. It'll be nice just to drop your bags off. Like if you don't have status, just to drop your bags off and you want to get off the cruise ship early, maybe worth the money. But if none of those things are important to you, then just come later or something, come after 1:30 and your cabin will be ready most of the time. So that's another strategy too. Stephen Lee, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for all you do. You inspire my wife and I to travel as much as possible while we can, as life is short. We've done 8 cruises to date and 8 on the books. Hope to cross paths one day. Shake your hand and buy you a coffee if you'd accept. Stephen Lee, thank you so much for the super chat. And how would I ever turn down a cup of coffee? So many people say I want to buy you like an alcoholic beverage. I think, Stephen Lee, you might be the first person who said I would buy you a coffee. And I don't think I would refuse a coffee. I would refuse alcohol because I don't drink it that much, but coffee, you might have me there. Thank you so much. I'm regretting not bringing a water in here at the same time. Joya, thank you so much for the super chat. Keep up those cruise hands. Cruising. They're limber. They're ready. Cruising. And never quit sharing the news and your travels in entertaining ways. Joya, I will keep doing it. Thank you so much for the super chat. She's super chatty. Ow. Mike and Sonia, thank you so much for the super chat. How was the carnival celebration? We saw your ship docked with us in Cozumel. We were so excited knowing you were close. Sonia wants to hear you sing Staying Alive with cruising hands. I don't even know that song. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Ha, ha, ha. Thank you. Have you guys seen the new weird John Travolta? Who did he sell out to? He's dressed as Santa Claus, recreating some of the Saturday Night Fever scenes. Was it T-Mobile? I like T-Mobile. They've been good to me. But yeah, that's a weird one. I like the carnival celebration. I liked it better than the Mardi Gras. We had a blast. There's so much of it I didn't explore. Jenny booked us the perfect cabin right at the mid-elevators. Everything we wanted to get to was right there. Watched several of the shows. I don't know how I feel about these shows on the celebration. I think the production values are really great. The performances are good. Production values are good. The elements. But the stories are wackadoo. And then the circus that everybody wants to see, it took like 15, it's an hour show. Like the only thing I don't like about some of these hour shows that they're putting in center stage is they jerk you around for like 15 minutes. Like the first 15 minutes of the circus was just all people doing this and then waving at you in the audience. There was no show. It was just like, all, and the whole cast, and they're like, and then a guy showed up in a parachute, and I don't even understand what the story was. Somebody said it was allegorical or that it was related to The Greatest Showman. Maybe. I don't know. But there were some circus acts, and there were some recognizable songs, but it didn't feel coherent. But it was pretty cool. And the one thing I did like about the carnival celebration is the Family Feud. This was the first time I'd ever went and watched the Family Feud. Man, I don't know what they paid for that, but they do a great job. What I really like about the Family Feud, and shout out to cruise director Lee, is like they do a pre-interview with the families, and they got jokey jokes written that goes along. It's very well produced. So they spend time with the contestants, they come up with jokes, it flows really well. And what I like about it is, because the first time I ever tried sushi, I ate it for 7 days in a row. That's the way I am. The nice thing about the Family Feud is you can watch it 3 times in one night. So if you're watching the Family Feud and you really like that first show, you could go again and again. I didn't go again and again. I had other stuff going, but I had that urge to go again and again. And they had the late night was, I guess it was naughty. I don't know what was going on. I didn't see it. But I like the fact that they've done that. And of course, you can't film it, so I couldn't share any of it with you, which is fine. Let me say that. I get that question a lot. Sometimes I will include footage of shows on cruise ships, and somebody always goes, hey, you're not supposed to film the show. The way it works, like on this carnival ship, they encourage you to film all of the shows that they produced, and then the things that you couldn't film, they told you not to. So that's normally the way it works on cruise ships. They'll tell you not to record anything, or they'll tell you it's okay. And if they don't say anything, then I assume it's okay. So I'm always listening to see whether or not you're supposed to or not. If they say don't, I don't. The other thing, and this is for anybody that's filming the shows, don't hold your phone up in front of your face, in front of other people. Kind of be discreet. Kind of keep the light hidden so that you're not disturbing other people. Have some couth when you're recording the show, but only record the show when it's allowed, and don't do it when it's not allowed. So that's the way I do it. But yeah, and don't disturb other people. I got to tell you this though. One show we saw in the theater, I don't know what it was, but the people behind us were competing with the music. So if the music would crescendo, their conversation would get louder. It was so bizarre. I was there with several people from the local fam, Leah, Cindy Bartles. It got so bad that Leah had to move seats because the people were just talking and talking and talking. Again, I'm not gonna get in a fight with anybody over it, but man, it was dang annoying that it was like, rah, 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 rah. And then if the music got loud, they got loud. Crazy stuff. But yeah, I like the celebration. I hope that answers the question. And thank you so much for the super chat. Super chat. 1,400 people. Holy moly. What's going on, everybody? How the heck are you guys doing? Are you ready for some cruising? I go again on December the 3rd. But here's what I would challenge you. A very simple thing. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Let's see if we can do it by 9:30. 1,400 of you. We already got 641. We just need quick math. 359 people to hit that like button. Do it. Do it now. All right, I'm at the bottom. We got any fresh questions? Questions. Let's see. Yeah, don't film vertical, Matt says, unless you're doing like short form, you know, TikTok. You don't want to diss, you don't want to diss the TikTokers or the Instagram reelers or the YouTube shorters. But yeah, vertical is passe if you are into long form content. Question from Maverick. Headed on the carnival celebration, any mass COVID or other illness happening? They don't report that out. I did hear from the previous group that was on the cruise that a lot of people got sick. I saw some postings that people were all feeling bad. I don't know how my crew's doing. Jenny and I are doing pretty good, but I think people are still getting sick all over the place on cruise ships. I don't think that's any surprise. I think people in society are... I'm gonna do a story tomorrow though. I can't spoil this story. I think I'm gonna do, I got so much stuff to talk about. But yeah, I think there is some mass sickness going on. That's just the way it goes. Bob Harris, thank you so much for the super sticker. It says under there, let's celebrate your first super on a live stream. Celebrate Bob's first sticker. Da-na-na-na. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. Do you spell your name backwards? Never mind. It's not neither here nor there. Let's see. Who else is... What the other... SB's got question marks. I'm surprised I saw him, but I saw my name. Have you watched the video of the new Beatles Now and Then? I'm obsessed hearing all 4 Beatles and seeing them together thanks to Peter Jackson, the Lord of the Rings. It's interesting. I need to spend some more time with it. I started hearing about it on the cruise ship. I saw a TikTok that said this song was out, the last Beatles song. I went and listened to it, and I'm like, oh, there's John. It makes me feel so sad. And then I went and watched the video, and then I went and watched the making of the video. I need to spend some more time with it. As many have said, it's not the deepest Beatles song, but it is weird, like reaching, it's like John from the grave reaching forward. Of course, it's all produced by Paul, so he's able to frame the narrative there, but the lyric is really haunting, right? Like, I miss you, and, you know, remember these times. And so we determined in the Patreon show that Lennon died in December of '80. So we're talking 40 something years later, this voice from the past comes and it melds together. And, you know, not everybody's a Beatles fan, but I love the fact that Paul McCartney is enough of a Beatles fan and enough of a John Lennon fan that he wanted to bring this forth. And I gotta give it some more time, but I thought it was really good. Let's see. Craig Fisher, will I go on Disney Wish? Probably not. Will I go on Disney again? Maybe. The Treasure's got some interesting stuff, but again, it doesn't tick a lot of my cruising boxes. I don't really want to cruise with kids. I don't know. And the last Disney experience was so Disney. Like I said, even in the adult area, like you went to the piano bar in the adult area and it's like, tonight we're doing Disney villain songs. I'm like, really? In the adult area, it's all Disney all the time? So I don't know. No shade on anybody who loves Disney, just like, you know, I'm sure we all don't like the same thing. So there's a lot of people that love the Disney, and much love and respect to those people. It just doesn't feel like my cup of tea. But yeah, I was glad to do it and check it out the one time. Question, does anybody, if this is from Jeff Hunt, does anybody know the best way to get to the hotel and hotel to port? All in Miami will be 2 adults, child. One has a scooter. Hotel to port. I like parking in Miami. It's a little bit of a pain to get down there, and you got to pay for, maybe you're flying in. If you're flying in, I don't know how to deal with the scooter. I've never had to deal with that before. Like, I don't know if you can order an accessible Uber. Yeah, so if you don't have your own vehicle, you're probably gonna have to reach out to somebody that has some accessibility. Maybe the hotel will have a shuttle that has accessibility. Anybody that's dealt with accessibility or scooters getting around in Miami, maybe if you could throw or tag Jeff there and let him know. Let's see. Is it appropriate to tip in Canadian dollars or euro? John, I guess it depends where you're at. So somebody asked me this earlier. Most of the countries in the Caribbean, the islands, they're all down with USD. They're okay with dollars. But if you go to Europe, like I went to the UK and my credit card didn't work and I didn't have any pounds, and I was like, I have US dollars, do you take that? And they're like, no, are you crazy? And I'm like, okay, sorry. So I had another credit card that worked. So it really depends where you're at. USD is not that popular in Europe. That shouldn't be a surprise. I didn't think it would be before somebody goes, yeah, Americans, you just think everything's about you. I hate those comments. But I didn't think that, but I was just trying to, solve a problem with what I had on me. And, but yeah, no USD over there, but in the Caribbean, they like the USD. I'm not sure where they take Canadian money. Like I don't even know if they take it in Canada. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they do. But yeah, usually the USD. David Christie retracted the message, but thank you for the super chat. Sergio Santos, thank you for the super chat. Where'd it go? Just a random tip for you. Love the show. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. There was a lot of super thanks today. I was kind of tongue in cheek in that thing, but I appreciate everybody who hit me up with a super thanks today. I'm super thankful. Lisa Settle, is that a Princess band on your wrist? Nope. I've kind of got a little obsessed with these Casio G-Shock watches. They're kind of a reasonably priced watch. They have Bluetooth, and they're a little more rugged than my Apple Watch. I like this one. Will it focus? Yeah, it's just an analog with a digital aspect to it. It's a G-Shock. I got a couple. Jenny got me one for my birthday, so I got a black one and I got a metal one. But I do like the white one. The white one. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat, Lisa. Question from Lori Crowning Shield. Oh, where'd it go? Have you ever been on the Magic Carnival? I will be on her March 2024. We've not been on the Magic, but I feel like we've been on a sister ship of the Magic. Anybody know what a sister? I've been on the Breeze. I've been on the Liberty. I've been on all the Panorama ships, the Panorama, the Vista, the Horizon. I've been on the Mardi Gras. I've been on the Celebration. I've been on the Paradise. I've been on the Fantasy, the Elation, the other one that starts with an E, the Ecstasy. I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be definitely Carnival. Anybody been on the Magic? Can you give some Lori some input? Yeah, Randall, the credit card didn't work. I think I'd notified my credit card company that I was going to Europe, but for some reason, it was either a MasterCard or Visa. It didn't work, so I carry 3 credit cards. I carry an American Express, a MasterCard, and a Visa, and one of those are gonna work, in my opinion, and one of those did not work. Favorite excursion in St. Martin was asked by, man, this thing's popping all over the place. Maverick. The one time that Don Terrace and I, don't let me forget my announcement. The one time that Don Terrace and I were together in St. Martin, we did ATVs and we drove all over the island and we had to stop at Maho Beach and saw the planes fly in, and it was great. That's my favorite excursion in St. Martin. A good question. Sean Barton, Team Barton in the house. What's up, buddy? Team Barton in the building. Thank you and Jenny and the fam for an amazing group cruise. It was an amazing week. So grateful and appreciate it to you all. What it do? And no snoozing. Yeah, Sean, it was good to spend time with you and had a blast. Thank you guys for coming out. And yeah, it was good. I know I'll be missing you guys soon. Which soon is now. I kind of wish we were all having dinner. Let's see. Question, Kathleen Brady, what about going international on the new Sun Princess or when it comes over to Florida? Our man Don T is going to go over and do the Sun Princess. So we got this, I think the Sun Princess could be in play. We've got a Transatlantic in March on a celebrity ship going from somewhere in Florida to Barcelona. Then we have 10 days in Barcelona, and then we have a Carnival ship coming back to Fort Lauderdale. So we're going to get to go to Spain with no flights, Spain and back with no flights. And I believe that Mike Gormley, the Naughty Cruiser, he's going to go from Barcelona. I think he's going to take the train to Rome and get on the Sun Princess. I'll have to firm this up. If that's a possibility, but it's tight coming back, like you might have to take a flight coming back, Sun Princess could be in play. If it doesn't happen there, we'll probably go on the Sun Princess when it comes to Florida so that we can see the new sphere, part of the ship. The other thing that's interesting, I think Don's coming down and going on the Ascent, and I haven't really talked about it yet, but the NCL Aqua has been announced, and there's no go-karts on it, which I think is interesting. I'm interested about that too, but yeah, that's a good question. David Christie, back with the super chat. Question, going back down under anytime soon. Hope enjoyed your cruise from Australia to New Zealand, and we're doing the same in 2024. I don't think it's gonna happen in 2024. I'd like to get Jenny over there. We'll probably do a Trans-Pacific where you come out of Alaska, you go over to Asia, and then eventually end up in Australia. And then I'd like to do the ports around Australia since I went around New Zealand. That's probably 2025, maybe 2026. But yeah, someday we'll get back there for sure. Thank you so much for the super chat. Super Chete, Texas Pepito. I was so excited on embarkation day that I got to see Texas Pepito and his wife outside of the terminal there on the Carnival celebration. They got to meet Jenny B for the first time. It was a moment. People were crying. It was a time stand still kind of moment. Time stand still. Shout out Luda. Okay. Have I ever been on a Journeys cruise? No, I have not. I hear those are fun. Looks like my brother Retro Sarge is in the house. What's going on, my brother? My brother's telling me that the new Call of Duty is dropping on Friday. We've had so much going on in both of our lives. We haven't had a chance to play any COD. But if the new Call of Duty is dropping on Friday, I might be playing Call of Duty all weekend. Question, what is it you like about the Transatlantic, the large number of sea days or something else? Klondike, 22. I like the large number of sea days. I like the, it's also a nice way to not have to fly across the ocean, right? So if you don't want to spend hours, it's quicker, right? Just to spend hours on a plane. But a lot of times, the price of the cruise, which takes more days, and you get all that stuff included with it, the price is almost the same as flying. So I feel like I'm getting more value for my money going on a cruise opposed to just flying. And I don't know, I just like the being on the ocean part. On the only transatlantic I've ever done is the New York to Rotterdam, and that was 8 sea days, and it was glorious. I thought it would take forever. It went by really fast. I was a little bummed out, but yeah. Let's see, question with from Tajania49. Have I heard about the propulsion issues on the Panorama? Primarily from Don's video. I think Don covered it today. Maybe Dougie, Cruise Radio. I think he covered it today. Usually I watch Doug and Don. I'll watch Doug in the morning, Don in the afternoon. And then if somebody's thumbnail catches my eye, gotta have a clicky thumbnail, y'all. Don't be hating on thumbnails. It's a tough life out there trying to get people to watch your videos. If somebody's got a clicky thumbnail, but I'm very consistent watching Don and Doug, and I think both of them talked about the Panorama. So sounds like it's broken again. Sounds like they're only gonna make one port stop on their current cruise, and I'm trying to remember the deets from those videos, but yeah, it doesn't sound good. Oh, we hit 1,000 likes. You guys rocked the Casbah. There's still 1,400 of you there. I think we can get to maybe 1,200, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too ambitious. You guys are the best live stream crowd out there. The Loca Fam rocks the Casbah. So if you could, hit that like button. You may be on your mobile device. You just got to close the chat down, hit the like button, open the chat back up. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Ooh, the caffeine's starting to kick in, y'all. I think so. Let's see. You know, somebody says, when's the Luda collab start? I don't think Ludacris will ever know about me in the entire life. And maybe it's wrong that we've attributed every song ever written to Ludacris. And it's definitely messes with the people that don't know what we're doing. I love the fact, nobody really got on to, must not be a lot of Cat Stevens fans out there because I did Wild World, attributed that to Luda. I don't think one person said, hey, that's not Luda, that's Cat Stevens. But the Pink Floyd one, people really lost their mind. Like, you know that was Pink Floyd. Shout out Luda. I do like that joke. Nomad Beads, have you ever considered doing a river cruise or a sleeper train trip? I have considered a river cruise and I have determined I don't want to do it. And then recently, I think I watched EECC's Alaska train land thing. That looked boring as heck too. I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I love nature that much. I love going to Alaska for sure, but I like being on a cruise ship and going through the inside passage and popping off at Ketchikan and going down Creek Street, all that stuff. That whole just driving through the country to go to another town that looks like Skagway doesn't look like fun to me. but I've been surprised before. But when you guys, just trying to be as honest as possible, the desire is not hitting me for either one of those two things. Let's see. Yeah, Panorama's constantly had problems. Maverick, are there tasty balls on the celebration? I did not go to Emerald's, but I feel like once you've had Emerald's Boudin balls in your mouth, they're probably pretty consistent. He seems like he would have a consistent ball experience, Emerald. Like it'd be bam every time. So, but no, I didn't go to Emerald's on there. The rice and beans would have been really good. Question from Patty Angelina. What's your longest cruise? I'm leaving on Friday for 33 days on the Viking Star. I got an amazing price. Patty, that sounds fan-freaking-tastic. I don't know how you want to count this one. I was on the Rotterdam for 21 days, but it was 2 cruises. That was a 15 and a 7, but I stayed in the same cabin and we stopped a lot. So I'm going to say 21 is probably my longest, but it was awesome. It was awesome. Let's see. Morrissey is late. I'm here now. Can you do a recap? I certainly will. I would normally tell you just to go back and rewatch it. The 2 questions that I got a lot over the last couple days is, hey, since you're not doing group cruises anymore, does that mean you're quitting YouTube? The short answer is no. And if you want to know why the answer is no, I'm not quitting YouTube, go back and watch the replay. I get really passionate about it. And then the other question that I was getting a lot is, how can you afford to tip so much or cruise so much? And my answer is that I run a small media and entertainment business that sells ad-friendly content to one of the biggest purchasers of or sellers of advertising. I still got to come up with a better. I'm a YouTuber. That's what I do. I'm a small business owner and I make media. That's how I get to cruise and tip as much as I do. That's the recap. The rest of it's just been answering these questions and of course begging for you guys to hit the like button. So there's that. First Sergeant Richard, thank you so much for the super sticker. And look, nobody else has done it. Might as well be First Sergeant Richard. He's the #1 fan. That honor goes to you, First Sergeant Richard, because you're the first to claim it. Thank you so much for the super sticker. We got 1,100 likes, 53 more likes. I feel like we're on a telethon. All we need to get those phones ringing. We just need 53 more likes to get to 1,200. No, man, I am hyped, y'all. I'm hyped. All right. This coffee's tart, though. I wish I'd have brought some water in here. Who loves the jazz hands? I do. I love the jazz hands. I love them. Okay, question. What do you think of theme cruises? Bob Drucker, I've never been on one. I like the idea. The funny thing is, we're all trying to get in our own tribe, and you would say, hey, we're already cruising. That's our own little tribe. Well, let's tribe it up some more. Let's go on a Creed cruise. Or I'm going on the Comic-Con cruise in the official, from the people that put on the San Diego Comic-Con. I'm going on that official cruise. I think it's in January of 2025. As far as I know, that'll be my first theme cruise. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be like a Comic-Con at sea. I like it. If you like the Golden Girls, go on the Golden Girls cruise. If I feel bad for the guy that had trouble on the heavy metal cruise. That's sad. But yeah, theme cruise, good stuff. They cost more though. That's the only thing. You're gonna have to pay to play. Like it's like if your normal room is like $800. I don't even know what the markup is, but it's a lot more expensive than if you just book a cruise. But then you get access to all of the events, which is what you're wanting anyways. Yeah, Maverick, 50 cruises in 6 years. And think about that, there was an 18-month shutdown in there. I don't know if I'll get to 100 in the next 6 years, though. We've slowed down a little bit. Slowing down. Question for Cozumel, would you choose Mr. Sancho's or Paradise Beach, and why? Tobias, 5959. Look, I could be biased. They're very nice to me at Paradise Beach. They've been a sponsor of the show. They've paid for advertisement on our show before. I don't think that's the only reason that I would choose them, because they're super nice to us. It's a little more relaxed vibe at Paradise Beach Club. I think the amenities are nice at both. I like the fact that there's a lot of seating around the pool at Paradise Beach Club. Both times that I went to Sancho's, I had to sit in the sand in plastic chairs, and it's not good for a fat guy. But at Paradise Beach Club, they have stuff that's on concrete, and it's by the pool. And again, the vibe, look, they plied me with drinks at Sancho's. They kept giving me Purple Rain. It was crazy. It was a party. And I think if you want to go kind of get, blotto, if you want to go get, completely turned up, go to Sancho's and get in that, pool that swims up to the bar and just drink yourself into oblivion. But if you want a more chill, but still really fun environment, Paradise Beach Club is good for that. And you can drink and eat all you want the same. But I choose Paradise Beach Club in Cozumel. I've never been to Nachi Cacombe, to be fair, or that Excursions Park or whatever it's called. Let's see. Joshua, did I mention my favorite cruise line? And if not, what defines a good cruise? So my favorite cruise line is the next one. So I guess that will be Princess. But I said if I was forced to only cruise one, fortunately I'm not. I would probably choose Royal because it ticks more boxes. I want good shows, good access to specialty dining. I would like a good layout of the cruise ship, and I like a good casino environment. And I like where they stop at ports for long periods of time. I think Holland America, I think wins that than Princess. But I think more of the boxes that I like, variety of entertainment, especially on those big Royal ships, I think Royal would be the one I would stick with. But again, fortunately for me, I don't have to do that. I really want to go through the 50 cruises that I've done to see what I've cruised on the most. I feel like it could be Carnival, but it might be Royal. But man, I tell you, this year I've spent most of my days at sea, I think, on Holland America. So I don't know. Yeah, Matt, that Purple Rain was, they get you. Let's see, what's the best coffee drink, Kevin Brubaker, on the Celebration? There's no good coffee drinks on the Celebration. The cold brew was yee, and they don't really do iced coffee. So the first thing we did when we got off the Celebration was go and find coffee. It's a pretty disappointing thing. Like, I just want my appeal. And maybe they're behind the times, but so many people drink some sort of iced coffee now that I feel like the cruise lines have to do a better job. Some of the cruise lines do a great job with it, but Carnival is not strong in the iced coffee game. For goodness sakes, get yourself a plastic cup. They're giving you iced coffee in like a thermal cup. I mean, this isn't hard. They're trying to get rid of single-use plastics. I get it, but this is what we expect when it comes to iced coffee. Let's see. What do you think of Adventure of the Seas? I was on it right after the restart, and it was pretty heavily... I liked it. A lot of great people on there, but it was still full protocol, right? A lot of masking, distancing, all that stuff. I'd like to try it without all of that, but it was good. Yeah, Cafe Con Leche at the Havana Bar. Pitbull will make it for you, actually. So yeah, that would probably be pretty good. Nice, strong Cuban coffee. Does Cafe Con Leche... Yeah, it's got the word milk in it, so there's going to be some sort of cream in it. That could be the best. I would go with Texas Pepito's recommendation. Morrissey, question, are all cruise lines doing non-refundable deposits now? I don't know. I don't know really anything about booking cruises. So that's our other company that's run by the beautiful Jenny B. It's actually her company. I have my company. She has her company. That way, if she ever kicks me to the curb, she can take both companies. Jenny B, can you answer Morrissey's question if you're out there? I don't know. Or any travel agents. Jump on in, travel agents. Amber Kinsvogel. Will you plan to go on Icon or Utopia of the seas next year? I think I got a better shot at going on Utopia. Icon's really expensive right now. And the other thing I want to answer is, am I going on free cruises and getting free stuff all the time? Not really. Maybe every once in a while I'll get offered some internet or something like that. But I try to pay for all my cruises. That way I can say whatever I want to say. So if I wanted to go on Icon right now, I'd have to shell out some ducats. I don't really want to go on the inaugural, and I don't want to go when it's thousands and thousands of dollars. So I might be a couple years away from going on Icon. Hopefully I can go on Utopia cheaper, but that may be a year to... the funny thing is, like, when the next version of the ship comes out, that's when things get cheap. So I might not get to go on Utopia or Icon until... Is Utopia going to be the last Oasis? I don't know. But yeah, I would like to try them out. The next Royal ship I anticipate going on, this is just me freeballing here, I think it's going to be Allure, since they're doing the 3 and 4 day cruises. I think I'm going to get a wild hair. And so I'm moving my mom down next month. I got to get my thyroid cut out. We got Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff coming our way. Hopefully there'll be just a little pocket somewhere, maybe in January or something, where we can just pop over and go on the Allure. I don't know, but I would like to do that. Jeff Farrell's bringing your own personalized tumbler. That's what I would do, like with your name on it, or is that what you mean by personalized? Will it say Jeff Farrell 79 on it? I would like to see that. Caleb Fisher, question. Tony, did you see all the 4 individuals get arrested for credit card fraud on your group cruise? They hit credit cards for 10. I did not see that. That sounds interesting. Question from Joshua Miller. How did you end up getting your channel started in the beginning with views? We didn't get a lot of views in the beginning, so we made videos, we did vlogs, and I've told this story before. There would be nights where you know, the video, we put the video out. So we made like 4 vlogs for the fantasy, and they're not great. They're still on the channel. And they got some traction. The cool thing for us is we were part of a Facebook group, and we met some people on the cruise ship on the Carnival Fantasy. And so when we made those videos, we were able to post those, ask the admin of the group, hey, can we post these videos? Some people watched them, but I don't think they really got to like 100 views until we got popular. The video that blew up for us is I made a Faster to the Fun video. So I would go through all of these big Carnival Facebook groups where everybody was being mean to each other. And there was a common question, hey, what do you think about Faster to the Fun? Interestingly enough, we got that asked that question tonight. And so I said, well, instead of me typing out, here's what I think about Faster to the Fun, let me make a video. And so then anytime I saw somebody asking about Faster to the Fun, of course, I asked the admin of that group, hey, I have an answer to this question in video form. Can I post it in the group? They said yes. And so when anybody would ask that question, I would post my Faster to the Fun video. And that video really blew up. It got to 10,000 views. And that allowed me to monetize our channel for the first time. Back when we started, you could monetize your channel if you had a video or if you had 10,000 total channel views. And that's what kind of started us on the path and really made me, you know, open my eyes that instead of going into, I tried to be as helpful as I could. We had our own Facebook group. I would try to answer questions, type. But then I found out I was retyping the answer a lot of times and I could just make a video. And so that's when I started making like news and tips and all that kind of stuff, in addition to when we would go on cruises, because we'd have these long periods of time where we wouldn't go on cruises. That's really like our first big series. Just to kind of learn how to make videos, we made 100 days to Havana. And so after our first cruise, it was 100 days to Havana. We were trying to lose weight, but we documented every day, like we would make a vlog every day for 100 days, which was not easy, especially when you don't know how to do it. Those videos, if they got 100 views, we would be super excited. So there'd be some nights where like, oh, I hit 100. But I don't know where, you know, it took off somewhere, you know, between that and the pandemic. And then in the pandemic, it really took off because at that time there wasn't on YouTube, you know, there was like, there wasn't like a whole, let's go through all of the news. A lot of times it would just be single topic news. And then I started doing this, let's go through all the news kind of thing. And that really took off. So I think that answers that question. But if I'm thinking back about it, and then the wild thing is, you know, like we were saying, you know, I'd be lucky to get 100 views. I just checked our lifetime views. We're only about 8,000 views. We'll hit it tonight. We're only about 8,000 views from having 85 million channel views in 6 years. It just blows my mind. 85 million times somebody's watched me say, hey, 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 and see you on the Lido, which is a trip in my mind. So that's exciting. I hope that answered that question. Let's see. Hey, Royal Caribbean blog, Matt, are you on a lure right now or did you get, I was so jealous. You're probably back because it's short. I saw you post that you were going on a lure and I was like, that guy, oh, I told Jenny, I said, oh, I wish I could just go over and get on a lure. Welcome, Matt. We're glad to have you here. And I've missed talking to you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. So welcome, Matt. Cindy Burleson, thank you so much for the super sticker. Yes, there's Matt. I see the verified thingy there. How's a lure on the short cruise? Is it good? Is it something everybody should do? Did you feel like you got the most out of that Oasis in just a few days? I know you've been on it before, but I was on the Wonder for just a short cruise and it worked out pretty well. Redneck Lover, what's going on? Thank you so much for the super chat. Paid my cruise on the Elation for January 22nd with Jenny today. Jacksonville's a great port for a truck driver going to park my semi at the port. Yeah, there is some interesting parking at Jacksonville. Congratulations on another paid off cruise. And yeah, now the countdown is on. The countdown is on. Yeah, Wendy Johnson, or Johnstone, very excited to have my mama moving down. We're gonna do that next week. I'm very excited. Home went on the Allure over the weekend. Great cruise. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to do that. I don't know what the pricing's like, but I'm gonna have to do that. I don't think we've been on Allure yet. Been Harmony, Wonder, Oasis. I don't know what, I think I'm missing some of the Oasis class. I wanna do that. Do that. Oh yeah, don't forget the announcement. So tomorrow night, I'm gonna do another live stream and I'm gonna do it with Don Terrace. So I'll set that up tomorrow, but Don and I are gonna go live. And I kinda wanna start doing a weekly thing called the Cruise News Roundtable. It's serendipitous that Matt is here. The invite is open, maybe not tomorrow night, but the concept, which is we're working on the fly here, I think it would be fun to get some of the Cruise News people together, Matt, Doug, what's the guy, Derek from Island Time. There's a lot of people that do the news, but those are the ones that come to mind. Of course, Don. It would be fun to get 3 or 4 of us on at the same time, and then maybe I can moderate and we can say, hey, what do you think the most important cruise news story was this week? Or hey, what do you think about this? That's kind of the idea. So I'm gonna do that with Don tomorrow night. I didn't even tell Don that's what the concept was. I just said, hey, Don, do you want to come on tomorrow night? So yeah. Cruise News Roundtable number 1, I guess. You're hearing it here first as I'm ideating it right now. So yeah, that's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. It'll be me and Don, unless we can pick up a third guest along the way and see if we can make that work. But at the minimum, me and Don talking cruise news. Cruise news tomorrow night. That's the announcement. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. Question from Happy Joy. Have you ever rode on the Bright Line? What's the best way to get down to the Port of Miami from Port Everglades, doing a back-to-back, side-to-side Odyssey Independence? I have not ridden on the Bright Line yet. I've watched a few videos on it. I've seen some pricing on it. I felt like it was expensive. I think the easiest way to get from Lauderdale to Miami is to take an Uber. I think our friend Brian said it was like 40 or 50 bucks to go from Miami up to Fort Lauderdale. I would probably do that, or just price out an Uber or a cab. That way you can go port to port without having to go port the railroad station to port. You just go port to port. You may check with your cruise line though to see if they're doing any transfers from the airport down to Miami. So maybe check with your cruise line, see if there's a transfer from Fort Lauderdale down to Miami, and so you could just go to that airport as if you'd flown in and meet the people down at baggage that have the little sign that would take you down there. So that's another option also. The show is 8 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern. What did I just read? What did I put in tonight's thing? Somebody said fall and winter, you say Eastern Standard Time, EST, and then the other one's EDT. I don't know, I have it backwards, but yeah, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. They don't do their show at 8 o'clock though, Lindy Lou. They do it at 9. So yeah. But yeah, tomorrow's the only night that Don can do it, so we're kind of in the pinch anyways. Bright Line's expensive, but I've taken it Orlando to Miami 3 times now. Love not having to fly, but super bored driving. Yeah, I don't love the drive. Like we had 4.5, 5 hours. We're on the other side of the state, so maybe if the Bright Line comes to Tampa, that might be an option. But that's got to be nice. What do you do with your luggage? They have a luggage car? Like, are you able to take a full suitcase with you, Matt? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So question, did I know that our most popular video, 10 mistakes first-time cruisers make, and it's only over 1 million views, maybe time for a remake? I have remade that video several times, and it never popped the same way. Before the pandemic, that video used to get 100 views an hour every day. I don't know why that became so popular with the algorithm. It's not really the greatest video. We only had a couple cruises under our belt. I think the advice is pretty solid, but yeah, so I don't know that it would pop the same way. There, the wild thing is you can essentially remake your whole catalog, because when it falls out of favor with the algorithm, you can just redo it again. So, here's the updated version of that. And there's some of that in almost everything that we make. It's all kind of derivative. All the cruising content there's some fresh ideas. Obviously, you'll go out there and see some fresh ideas, but almost everything all of us make is derivative of something. And so, yeah, it's all just like what's helpful to people and what's good for the programming. But yeah, that's certainly one that would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Virgin Voyages might be the next video to get over 1 million. We don't have a lot of if you look at Emma, and I haven't looked at Matt's channel, but I'm sure they got 1 million views. But the wild thing about doing that daily grind is you basically cut off the momentum. You don't give your videos any time to breathe, right? And so for me, if you look at the daily videos, you get the big spike for the first day and then it just dies off. And when that video that hit the mistakes that first time cruisers make, there was space in between all the videos. I think it was before I was daily, but yeah, it's an interesting life being a daily show. But I like the idea of being to me, it's it's kind of like the nighttime shows or something like that. You really are creating something on a daily basis, but you're not going to get those long, big views. So it's interesting. I love it. It's let's see. What did I think of the food on the celebration? Richard, so I ate in the MDR every night. I tried all of the new menus. It was okay. Like, you know, nothing really rocked my world. Some of the premium dishes didn't feel like they were there anymore. But what I did like about those new menus, I'm gonna make a video about it. I filmed all the food that I ate in the main dining room, and I got all the menus. But what I liked is that they had those emerald selections every night, so that was kind of a nice change. You know, I had some nice dishes. I wasn't mad at the food, like but I wasn't like, oh, this is the best food I've ever had either. So it's kind of that middle of the road, but it met my expectations, if that makes sense. Let's see. Question: when I get a chance to roll the bones with you, hoping one of these days to catch you on the cruise. When can I get a chance? Oh, I don't know, Henry. Whenever we're on a cruise, I haven't played a lot of craps lately. I only gambled a little bit on this last cruise. I just had one session at the blackjack table, which was nice. A lot of times we spent a lot of time in the casino, but it was pretty chillaxed. Amber Kensvogel, thank you so much for the super chat or super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Mona Bevington, what do you think about a solo cruise? Is it safe? I would say that cruising is safe for the most part, but at the same time, you can't be completely naive when you're cruising. So if you're cruising solo, if you can, try to get a buddy system with somebody that can check up with you, check up on you. If you're cruising solo, I say you gotta kind of watch how much alcohol you take on. You have to be situationally aware. You don't wanna be off by yourself somewhere with strangers, stranger danger. And so I don't think it's unsafe to go cruising by yourself. I've cruised solo many times, but at the same time, you have to have your wits about you. Just because you're on a cruise ship doesn't mean that everything, essentially you're bringing. On the celebration, we had 6,000 people. So percentage-wise, you're going to have some unstable people out of 6,000. I don't know what the percentage is. You're going to have some aggressive people. You're going to have some people that are not nice. That would, it's just the law of averages, the percentages or whatever. And so it's like going into a small city of 6,000 people. You know that the majority of the people are going to be cool and not mess with you, but there could be some people that would mess with you, given the right opportunity. So you got to keep all that in mind. Situational awareness. Good question. Which cruise line has the best coffee? Norwegian and Royal both have Starbucks on board, and that's my coffee of choice. I know not everybody likes that. So for me, I like it when the cruise line has a Starbucks on board because I can get almost the exact same coffee on the ship that I get on land. If you go to Celebrity, they have a really nice coffee bar, Cafe El Bacchio, and they can make almost anything, and it's all there. I think they might use Lavazza coffee, which is really good. Celebrity, Norwegian, Royal. Those are probably my favorite coffee experiences. The coffee on Princess is pretty good, but again, if you want something iced, you're gonna get it in a paper cup, and you gotta tell them to make you some sort of latte, and I don't like that. I just wanna get my coffee the way I like my coffee, and not every cruise line offers iced coffee in a way that we're used to on land, which seems like that should be automatic, should be easy, but not yet. Lourdes Rios question, did you get time to have an interview with Lee Mason? I saw he posted a picture. No interview for us. One time I requested, this is weird, I don't know. So again, at the beginning of the show, I talked about we just do stuff over and over without really any, taking time to have a plan. One of the things that we've never done is we've never created a media kit, and we've never reached out specifically to PR representatives to say, hey, we make cruising videos and we have a lot of people that watch us. Can you put us on your mailing list, or can we have access? So I did want to have Lee Mason on the podcast at one point, and I reached out to Lee Mason. I said, hey, Lee, can I interview you for the podcast? He said, oh man, I would love to do that. Lee's a nice guy. He likes us. He shows us a lot of love. He said, but you have to go through the PR representative for Carnival. And so he gave me an email address, and I typed out an email. Hey, I'm Tony from La Lita Loca, and we have people that watch us, and this is our channel, that kind of thing. I'd love to have a short interview with Lee if you could make that happen. And he never responded. And so I think one of the things I have to do is I have to go and get established with all of these PR people so that I can have that kind of access. But, you know, I talk to Lee on the ship all the time, but no formal interview. There's a lot of good interviews with Lee out there. I don't know that I could add anything to it, but yeah, so no interview with Lee, but a lot of good pictures. I did get called out by Lee twice on the cruise ship in the same day. You guys may have seen it where I accidentally knocked a towel animal off my bed in the cabin. It was a few videos ago. And apparently word got back to Lee, and the following day was the day that they were doing the towel folding instruction on the ship, like the little class. And so when he was doing the morning announcements announcing that that towel folding event would be happening, I was just on the Lido getting breakfast for us, and all of a sudden I hear him doing his announcements. I'm not really paying a ton of attention, but then I hear, hey, you guys may know that Tony from La Lita Loca is on board, and he would love for you guys to make a lot of towel animals for him, which I thought was funny, and I was like, oh, that's wild to hear my name on the PA like that. And then during his morning show, the Wave Show, he mentioned it again. So I got called out twice for towel animal abuse, I guess. Maybe he's a member of PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Towel Animals. But I don't know, like, again, you know, no towel animals were really harmed in the making of my video. That was a stunt towel animal, you know, you can hire them, that kind of thing. Yeah, but look, I don't like towel animals. I think it's a waste of time, and, you know, we're talking about tipping today. These poor guys have to fold animals that look like bears and put them on your bed, and just, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so that was kind of interesting, but no interview. Ross Jackman, thank you so kindly for the super chat. Sorry we didn't get to meet on the celebration. Did you notice the pools were closed due to a lot of poo? I didn't go on I don't swim on the cruise ship, really. I might on the Caribbean Princess because they have a nice zero entry aft pool. So I don't know what was going on in the pools. I know it rained a couple days, but if there was poo in the pool, that's code brown, that's bad. That's bad. I'm sorry anybody who couldn't get to swim. Lee Mason is the cruise director on the Carnival Celebration that was just on. Do I get a lot of comp cruises from the casino? I don't get a lot of free cruises, but I do get like free play or discounted, that kind of stuff. But probably nothing from Carnival because I barely gambled on the last cruise. Good question. Yeah, it's stunt towel animal. I think everybody knows that. Do you guys see that Tarantino movie, the Hollywood movie where Brad Pitt was a stuntman? Same thing. Same thing. I mean, I didn't have Brad Pitt be the towel animal, but that would have been cool. And there was a towel animal that survived till the end of the cruise. I didn't really take a picture of it, but he was still in our cabin when we left. Yeah, Jay from the Ship Life. I need to reach. I haven't talked to Jay in a little bit. I think the last time I saw Jay was on the celebration last year. Let's see. There you go. Bill said make a towel animal for your room steward. All right, it's 10 o'clock. And let's see if anybody wants to throw one more question. I'll give it a couple more minutes. Not quitting YouTube. If you want to know why, go watch the beginning of the show. I am a YouTuber. That's how I make money to cruise and tip. That was a common question. And show tomorrow night, the first ever Cruise News Roundtable with at least me and Don Terrace talking about the latest headlines in the cruise news. Oh, let me ask you this. So I put this poll up. Should pier runners be made fun of and heckled? 39% of you said yes. 32% of you said no. And 29% of you said depends. What does it depend on? Can somebody throw that in the chat real quick? What does it depend on? Question, do you know what was done to the Ruby Princess during its recent dry dock? Klondike 2022. I got no idea. No, I'd have to look it up. Sailed on the Carnival Miracle. Kaylee, I have not. I've sailed on some older Carnival ships, but not that one. Prol11 said that towel animals are good for the soul. I already gave my soul to Jesus, so no room for the towel animals. Let's see. Yeah, Lisa, the announcement was the show tomorrow night with Don Terrace, 8 p.m. Yeah, Don and I always have good conversation. I really thought he was going to show up on the cruise because of that video where he protested so much, but we did not see him. Maverick wants to know if I was able to pick up any Park West artwork. Well, as a matter of fact, if it's not bolted down, it's free, right? No, that's a crazy story, right? Crazy story. Royal Caribbean Blog says, depends. If it's not him, it's okay to heckle. That's right, Matt. It was crazy. So like on that Cozumel day, I feel like they called out like 18 people's names. Now I've heard on the tail end, the rumor was that 8 people got left behind, but then somebody was on the behind the scenes tour and the captain was there. They asked the captain said nobody was left behind. Then somebody else said nobody was left behind. Then I got an email that said that their parents from Texas, that the ship waited an hour for them. It's just wackadoo there in Cozumel. So their central time, we leave Miami, it's Eastern time, and we got there an hour early. They changed the times of the stop. I think a lot of people got confused. And a lot of people in the comments are like, people should be able to tell time. Look, if you're a first-time cruiser and it's the first time you get off in Cozumel, you could get confused. But I thought it was cool. I'd never seen them play like the final countdown. Somebody said, and I didn't hear it, I didn't have video of it, that they played Chariots of Fire. Yeah, I tried, the thing that turned the page for me is back in the beginning, I thought these pier runner stories would get a lot of views, right? So, it's hard. It's a weird thing. Like you don't want to celebrate the bad times of others because you think people are going to watch your video, right? So that's one thing you got to keep in check when you're making these videos. When bad news comes, you can't be like, oh yay, now I got something to talk about. And I think all of us fight that a little bit. Like you're like, oh, that's going to get views, but then you're like, oh, that's a crappy story. I don't even want to talk about that. There's stuff I really haven't talked about sometimes just because the story is so crappy. But I remember early on, as I was learning that lesson, I think it was the Mardi Gras or it was maybe the Horizon. It was a new carnival ship and there were pier runners in Rome. It was like on their Transatlantic and I was like, wow, brand new ship and people can't even figure out how to get back to it. And so I made that video and I put it out and then the rest of the story came in and the reason that the people were late was because somebody had died in an auto accident. Now it wasn't the people on the cruise ship, but they had gotten behind an accident that had a fatality. And so I was here kind of making fun of the pier runner and the fact that they couldn't get back and it was the first time the cruise ship had ever stopped. And I was basically making fun of people that had gotten stuck behind a fatality. So from that moment on, I really don't make fun of pier runners because I realize you don't really know what's going on with somebody. Certainly there's going to be people that look like they've maybe had too much to drink and they're having trouble getting back to the ship. But, to be up there and yelling like you suck and, run and all that stuff, when in reality, somebody could have been affected by something really tragic. I don't like it. I don't think you should. But again, I'm not the boss of everybody. And so, some people think that everybody's late and it's completely their fault. And maybe 80% of the time that's true. And so if you want to go with the, hey, most of the time that's true. And sorry if I makes fun of somebody who, got killed or something like that. I'm okay with the 20%. I fall on the other side. I'd rather not make fun of anybody in case it's that kind of thing. But there you go. Let's see, question, can you sing your ending vlog? No, that was recorded in a studio. I don't have all the same stuff here, but I appreciate the love for that. You have to watch the show. Is it possible to lose weight? Yeah, I don't think I lost weight on this past cruise. I'm gonna weigh in tomorrow, but my previous cruise, on my cruise from New York up all the way to Quebec City, I lost 6 pounds. So it's definitely possible. The big man lost 6 pounds on a cruise. Let's see. All right, 10:05, I'm ready to go home. It's been a long day, but I hope you guys got your question answered. Sorry I couldn't answer everybody's question. I hope you had some fun and entertainment tonight. I'm so glad that each and every one of you guys are here. Much love for the Loca fam. Thank you guys for all the great questions. My name's Tony for La Lita Loca, and until the next time, let me pull up that video that I close out with. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.